Well, she has alopecia. It's not her fault. Well, I don't care that she got alopecia. I don't want a bald woman. When I reach over, I want to rub hair. And so I feel like men should be able to say that.
Shemeka, you're going to have to walk me through this story. You tried to walk me through it this morning, but Marques Houston, I think one of the top singers from a group called Immature in the 90s, and I'm like, I don't remember Immature. I don't remember Immature. And then, you showed me some of their stuff, or they're like a knockoff of Another Bad Creation. Anyway, Marques Houston, I think he's in his 40s now, and married a 19-year-old and said he preferred. You unpack the story for me. I do want to talk about it. I do have some thoughts on it, but unpack the story for me and the audience.
Okay, so yes, Marques Houston, he was a member of the popular group Immature, and I couldn't remember all of their songs. The first song that came to mind was I Got the Munchies, and I was thinking I must have been smoking weed at that time. But he also played on Sister Sister. He played Roger. He was Tia and Tamara's annoying neighbor. And so a lot of people know him from Sister Sister. Well, anyway, he was introduced to a young girl by a mutual friend. He met her at 17. He proposed to her in 2020. They were married when she was 19. He was 38 at the time. And they're married. They've had a child. And for some reason, he caught heat back in 2020 when he actually proposed to her at 19 and 38 years old, but it has resurfaced, and I don't know if he did an interview and he said some things that kind of sparked some backlash, but people have really been going in on him, and one of the people was his bandmate who had something to say about his comments. What happened in the interview, I guess they were asking him about the age difference. He said that women his age, he's 41 years old, he could have gotten with someone that age and it could have been disastrous. He said some women his age come with baggage. And they went on to ask him what his red flags were. And his red flags, because of his father, were women with children. And so people are so upset. Of course, single women are upset, and they feel like he wanted somebody that he could manipulate. And his bandmate, Rome, actually took to social media and, of course, did what a lot of people do, which is bow down and worship Black women and act as if what he said was so wrong and it was so hurtful.
I don't think a woman is officially grown until age 25 or 26. So when I hear about a man nearly 40 and a 19-year-old woman, that raises a red flag for me. That there's an intellectual imbalance that I think is inappropriate. That dude's 40 and a 25, 26-year-old, that's a grown woman. She's been through college. She's been in the workforce 2 or 3 years. She should be, out in the world and just ready for whatever. 19? You just got out of high school a year ago. That's the red flag for me.
So, Jason, for me, I guess we could have a discussion about the age difference and how they may not be on the same level intellectually. What really irritated me was the fact that women have an issue with accepting the fact that when you're in your 40s, you may have baggage. He went on to say that a lot of women his age have attitudes. They have this feeling that they don't need a man. They're independent. And that is true. And while it may sound hurtful to some single women, you have to accept the fact that your kids may be seen as baggage. You're in your 40s. You may have a teenage daughter or a daughter who's smelling herself. This man could come in there. You have no idea if she's gonna, say he sexually assaulted her or looked at her a certain way. You could have a son who doesn't want to listen. He has already been thinking he's the man in the house, and now he has this attitude towards the man, and the man doesn't want to deal with that. So we can be really sensitive, but we have to accept the fact that sometimes this is looked at as baggage. You have this man coming in and you're looking at him like, ooh, school clothes, school shoes, school supplies. And he's thinking that he's getting some type of fresh slate. So I do want women to understand that could be baggage. Also, you take the fact that you may have an attitude, you may feel like, you're independent, you don't need a man. A lot of men don't want to deal with that. And what also bothers me, Jason, is the fact that women act like men can't have preferences. A woman can say she wants a man that's 6 feet, that makes 6 figures. He has to be sensitive to her needs. He got to rub her feet. He got to know when she's sad, when she's happy, what she needs. He got to push her dreams. He has to help her with the things that she want to do in life. But the moment a man has any type of standards, he's demonized. So, okay, we can say 19 is young, but if his choice is to have a woman that doesn't have kids, he should be able to express that. If he wanted a woman that was thin and not fat, tall and not short, men should be able to have their preferences and their standards the same way women do. A woman can tell a man, you have to marry me. We done been together 4 years. Meanwhile, y'all done been together 4 years, but you don't do any wifely things. You'll say something like, well, once we get married. How come some of this other stuff is not once we get married? You'll pop out a child before you have a ring. You'll shack up before you have a ring, but you won't cook a meal before you have a ring. You won't act like a wife before you have a ring. Why aren't there some standards for these other things? But yet men have to jump through hoops. That's the problem that I have with the whole preference thing.
You don't think men 40 and above have baggage?
I think they do, but a woman can express that without people jumping down her back. Like a woman can say, I don't want a man with children, and no one will demonize her. But as soon as a man says that, everyone feels like they need to come to the defense of single women and start stroking our egos, saying, oh no, that's wrong. He's being judgmental. And women will start saying, as the women did in that video, it's not our fault. Sometimes we know that. But if that's his preference, he should be able to say that and have a standard and not push back away from it. I have a standard. We all have standards or preferences. So I think that the same way women can speak on what they want and not be demonized, men should be able to speak on what they want and not be demonized. If you don't want a bald-headed woman, you should be able to say, I don't want a bald-headed woman, without bald women feeling upset and people coming to the defense of bald women. Well, she has alopecia. It's not her fault. Well, I don't care that she got alopecia. I don't want a bald woman. When I reach over, I want to rub hair. And so I feel like men should be able to say that.
Like what you saw? Hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the full episode by clicking the link below.